The idea is quite simple. It was planned to smash protons and see what would come of it. It all starts with this cylinder, the kind that welders have. It has regular hydrogen, H2, inside, but we aren't interested in it. We need its protons. They're obtained by ionizing the hydrogen atoms, that is, simply splitting off their electrons. Then, they're launched into a linear particle accelerator. Basically, this is a large electromagnet that plays the role of the first stage of a rocket. These particles must necessarily travel there in bunches. This booster accelerates them to 91% of the speed of light. Then, they're accelerated to 99.9% of the speed of light in the synchrotron. Then, the super proton synchrotron accelerates them even faster. And finally, the bunches are released into the main 17-mile-long tunnel. It's almost 4.5 miles longer than the subway line ring. The only difference between the two is that here, instead of trains, beams of protons are accelerated. Here, they accelerate to this much of the speed of light. This is the maximum speed that man has ever been able to achieve. Here we have 17 miles of pipe like this. Such a large number of magnets inside, capable of even accelerating a Boeing 747. Some magnets accelerate the bunches, each time giving them an electromagnetic kick and bending them, to make them spin around the ring. The others hold the protons together, preventing them from flying apart. In fact, the whole pipe is a big magnet. The bunches are flying in opposite directions, only to converge at one point and crash, causing the most powerful accident since the Big Bang. I hope you're as curious as I am about what would happen if you stuck your head in there and ran into that beam of energy. Ooh, we know the answer, thanks to one case. This is U-70, the particle accelerator built in the former Soviet Union. More than 40 years ago, Anatoly Bugorsky accidentally stuck his head in there. A high-energy proton beam from a particle accelerator passed through his brain and middle ear and went out his nose. The scientist went deaf in his left ear and began to suffer from epilepsy. But his intelligence hasn't suffered any damage. He's still alive and working at that particle accelerator. Here, in the Large Hadron Collider, there's 200 times as much energy. It'll just blow up your head, and you won't need a hat anymore. Okay, let's not experiment like that. So, we've accelerated the particles, and we've had a very powerful crash. What do we do next? Take pictures. But ordinary cameras won't do the trick. So which ones do then? Like these ones. The central part of the collider is the detector. Basically, there are these huge cameras that record quantum magic. There are 4 main detectors at the collider. Atlas is the longest, a 151-foot-long detector where the Higgs boson was detected. Alice is a detector where the Big Bang is created in miniature. LHCb is aimed at studies that can help to explain the matter-antimatter asymmetry of the universe. We'll talk about it in another video soon. And the CMS, or compact muon solenoid, which, of course, isn't compact at all and weighs like the Eiffel Tower. We are here right now. It's a 5-story Swiss watch, and every part of it clearly serves its function. Pixel and track detectors track the path of particles as they fly out on collision. The colorimeters halt the particles and absorb them to measure energy. Finally, there are huge muon plates on the outside. These are particles that fill everything around us. Here they are, the muon solenoid. It's all needed for the particles flying at the speed of light to put on the most beautiful show, for which we're gathered here. Detectors are not only powerful cameras, but they're also time machines. Alice behind me takes us back 14 billion years, when atoms had not yet formed molecules, and even atoms didn't exist. Thanks to Alice, we know that in the fraction of a second after the Big Bang, there weren't even protons, neutrons, or atoms. Their contents were floating separately, and the universe was fueled by quark-gluon plasma. What else is good about Alice? The temperature reached inside at 9 trillion degrees Celsius. It's incredibly hot. It's 1,000 times hotter than in the center of the sun. That's what happened at the Big Bang 14 billion years ago, and that's what's happening here now. There is no other place in the universe we know of. But this time, protons won't be enough to reach this temperature, so something heavier is needed. Here they slam lead nuclei into each other, the heaviest of the stable elements. If we compare, we can say that at CMS, scientists make passenger cars slam into each other, and here they make heavy tracks slam into each other. That's how they break into millions of pieces. But where do so many particles come from? The point is that something strange happens at the quantum level. Within this energy, new particles appear that weren't there in the first place. Imagine colliding two watermelons and getting oranges, apples, and even feijoa. This is the crux of quantum mechanics. At the same time, it doesn't violate the laws of physics. The mass remains the same. It was 22 pounds of watermelon, and now it's 22 pounds of other fruit. Each time we get a different fruit. So we need to collide many times to get the jackpot. There are millions of such collisions per second. To collect data on millions of collisions, we need a supercomputer.